Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome to another episode of One Eye Switched Off, But Why? Today, Scream 2022. Let's just get into it. Okay, so I thought I'd sit down and watch Scream, the new one that's not long come out. Now, this film runs for 1 hour and 54 minutes, and I made it 34 minutes into the film before I switched off. This was roughly at the point where what's-his-face pops back up. David Arquette, his character from the original series. Now, I've seen Scream 1, 2 and 3, which I used to own on DVD. I probably still do somewhere, actually. Scream 4, I've actually got on Blu-ray down there somewhere. Never watched it. I bought it for about £2 with the intent of watching it. It's never been a film series that I've wanted to really revisit. I don't really know why I bought the DVDs at the time. I didn't mind the first Scream when it first came out in the 90s. It was somewhat different. It was on the back of Wes Craven doing A New Nightmare. That was kind of like its sort of test run for the Scream series, so to speak. But yeah, it's just your standard slasher fare, isn't it? Mocked, obviously, in the scary movie films to a great degree, and it's difficult getting that kind of thing out of your mind. And also, it's a Halloween staple for people because it's just an easy costume to make, isn't it? So anyway, so this one here. So I started watching this one, thought I'd give it a go. Not overly interested in it or any sort of thing. So anyway, so 34 minutes in, like I said. Now, I'm not going to knock people for liking the film, or liking the film series, or horror as a genre in general. Now, I do like some horror. Mainstream horror, this is mainstream, obviously. Primarily the sort of horror that I grew up with as a child. I don't generally watch too much horror now. The Conjuring franchise, I think, is fine. It's a different sort of beast. But the sort of slasher genre, yeah, take it or leave it sort of thing. So anyway, so this film in particular, why did I switch this off? Well, I wasn't invested in any of the characters, any of the new characters. Okay, you had Jack Quaid there, Dennis Quaid's son. He's pretty good in stuff that he's been in. The Boys, he's very good in. I've seen him in a couple of other bits. He voices in Star Trek Lower Decks. He's the only person I know. Obviously, you've got characters in this film from the original film series, so it does play very much like a sort of one of the remake reboot type of films that you have, I call it, yeah, sequel reboots basically. You know, it even uses the same name as the first film, although I think it's a bit late to the party because these sequel reboots were big maybe 7 years ago with Star Wars, Creed, Jurassic World, this sort of a thing. So it's a bit late to that game in a sense. Now, like I said, I wasn't invested in any of the characters in this film. Okay, I know you got the original cast coming back, like Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and I can only imagine that their scenes are very good. You know, and what they've got to do in the film is pretty good and pretty interesting, but then surrounded by a load of teens that are completely uninteresting with no real character motivation, no real character to them, this sort of thing. They're just there to be killed off one by one or something silly like that. And then obviously there's the twist as to who's the killer. Yeah, just very, very stupid stuff. You know, the girl at the beginning, she was stabbed a considerable amount of times and she wasn't killed. I don't know if the killer intentionally, you know, if he's got an understanding of anatomy or something like that to miss vital organs and this sort of a thing. I don't know if that would come into play in the story or not. But, you know, she then seemed to be okay in a hospital bed after taking these mass stabbings that she had. And that in itself just like takes me out of the movie. When I got to a point when they started talking about the rules of the films when they met David Arquette, and again, that's stuff that just like You know, I just felt I was treading on ground. I was watching stuff that I'd seen before and stuff that I don't really want to revisit. So thusly, at this 34-minute mark, I turned this film off. Just not working for me, unfortunately. But like I said, I'm not knocking people who enjoy the film. We all have our dislikes and likes. This one just wasn't for me. There we go. So, this is AJ. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you sometime soon. Please consider hitting the subscribe button. Leave me a comment down below as to your thoughts on this film, whether you enjoyed it or not. Also hit the notification bell if you want to keep apprised of upcoming content. But anyway, this is AJ. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Take care all. Goodbye.